and I'm going to turn the show over to my other half, Bob, here. And here he is.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bob, and thank you, everybody, for sharing what you have shared. And I'd like to ask a question that for all of you, anybody that might have an answer. Now, if you, there's a lot of people that we want to share this with. Some people have never heard of Duane the Great Writer, and people. There's many people out there searching for quote unquote the truth. What words of wisdom would you want to share with somebody that might listen to this audio and be searching for the truth? What would the first words of wisdom that you might have for them? So anybody want to contribute?
Sure. I'd like to say it's not about the truth so much. It's simply about what makes sense. So just see what makes sense. The sun shining, that makes sense. It's pure and sincere and wonderful. It makes sense. Just like plants growing and birds singing and what the animals do, it makes sense. And in this world here, we have so many things going on that don't make sense, and so everybody, a lot of people are seeing that, and eventually, I've listened to a lot of these spiritual masters like Lester Livingston and Barry Long especially. I listened to them for a long time, but there was bits missing, things that didn't make sense, and with what we're doing here, it's all Duane is providing as references, and you have to do everything yourself. You have to support life, and you have to see the isness life is that supports everything, all of life, everywhere, and it's always new now and wonderful. It's an endless adventure, and I would say just to be open and listen, to lots of videos on YouTube, read Duane's books, and just be open. Don't have watch the difference between the part of you, the personal self that is scared, afraid, or having some attitudes, compared to the part of you that maybe does see what Duane and what we're presenting, does make sense. And then eventually it's always the person's decision. You always decide your life. So that's kind of going to be the individual's decision always in the end. But realistically, everybody came here to wake up to their real awareness. So you either decide, if your personal life is more important or your real awareness, and you don't lose your personal life. You'll still have that here, but it's decide what you'll decide what your focus is, whether it's becoming more aware and recognizing the isness life is and your real awareness, or just staying comfortable with what you've always known. And who knows how many more lifetimes of horrible situations it's going to be before you get this opportunity again. So I'm really grateful all the time. And I did go through some things, when I first came into this with my personal self and its attitudes, but I just kept watching it, and because I could see the part of me that didn't make sense. And we're all here to support everybody, and that, talking to Kelsey a lot when I first came into this definitely helped, and joining the Skype calls that anybody can join. And you really just got to decide to see it and just, take your time. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Thanks. Oh, I would say just as one step to recognize why you're here. Why are you here, and what are you doing here? And then if you're interested in the adventure, then you can make this your life and your lifestyle instead of the boring, one-dimensional, unaware, dumbed-down actions and just lifestyle of people here. And there's just a whole lot more than what is experienced here, no matter where you are on the planet or what astral or other experiences you've had in creation or psychedelic experiences, whatever. There's just a whole new adventure awaiting, and it can actually be your life. It can be you, and you can be real. So that's just really, really cool. And we'd like to see you on Skype and to create your own Skype call and share on Facebook with us. And, yeah, let's just see what happens, see where the adventure goes. And a really simple thing is just sing New You and see what you're shown. And it's really all up to you and your intent and what it is you want to do, because you do have the right to just keep doing whatever you've always done. But you can be that just shining being of light. You have that opportunity to actually be that. Yeah, recognize that. So that's really cool. And we want to thank Duane for everything that he's presented here and what he's doing, and you and Sandy for doing the show, and Claudie, and just everyone that steps up and says something and just shares, because it supports us too. You know, we all support each other, and it becomes more real for all of us, and there's more real light here, and it's really awesome and visible support that is available and that we can just endlessly recognize and make it real here too. Not just when we go to sleep at night or on the real side, but to where it is really our whole life, this real light and this invisibleness and all the adventures like Duane has gone through and shared, especially in New Book 4. That's a great book for people to read. Of course, New Books 2 and 6 are a great place to start, but Book 4, where Duane is going through the different levels in creation and confronting the different gods, including the Kalam god and the Supreme Deceptor. And, yeah, just be open to everything, because there's, you know, nothing is negated and anything is workable, and you can see how you can make a benefit out of anything or an adventure. And, yeah, there's always more to learn and explore and discover. So just sing New You and see what happens, and please do share it, whatever you see that makes some kind of sense, and wake up the world, like the children especially, because the children see a lot on the real side, and if they can speak up and let the adults know, then the world could transform. At least people could become more aware, and, you know, we can just see what happens.
Well, thank you, Kelsey, and I love that answer about, you know, instead of searching for the truth or, belonging to some religion where somebody else tells you, well, this is a regimented way that you have to do it and you have to be saved, just looking for what makes sense. And as an example of that, I was just reminded of an old movie that I was watching one time, and it was one of those old English movies where they had these two castles. You had one castle with one knight or one king, and then there was another castle, maybe 10 or 20 miles away or whatever, with another king of that castle, and they decided to battle each other. And so what they did is they found this valley with a huge hillside on each side and a valley at the bottom, and along the hillside and the tree line, you had thousands and thousands of these knights and archers and swordsmen lined up on one hillside, and on the other hillside, the other king had his soldiers all lined up, and they were going to have a battle. They were going to charge each other and at the bottom of this valley and battle it out and see who won. But the thing that really made me wonder, and what didn't make sense to me, this is a great example of what does not make sense, is before the battle started, they showed the high priest of the one king. He had his big staff with a cross on the top of it, and before the battle started, he said, let's give thanks to God and pray God for victory. And he took his big jar of holy water, and he ran up and down the whole line, sprinkling this holy water on all the soldiers ready to go into battle. And then on the other side of the valley, you had the other king, and you had his high priest, from whatever church it was. I think it was the Catholic Church. and he did the same thing. And they prayed to the same God, and here they were both worshiping the same God, and they anointed each other that they would be victorious in battle, and then they had the battle. But I couldn't help but think, well, gee, this really doesn't make sense. Why are these guys, if they're worshiping the same God or whatever, why are they fighting each other? It just did not make any sense. And so, and today, not only do we have the ability to start looking at things objectively, we have the new you that we can sing, and we can get immediate answers. That's something I was not aware of, back in the 1980s when I watched that movie. But today we have the advantage of the guides. Well, they were around back then, but I didn't know about them. But today, anybody listening to this blog show can go to the new you and ask the guides, well, come on, explain this. Tell me, something doesn't fit right here. Explain it to me. So, well, thank you, guys. Anybody else want to add any comment about what we might want to do there? As far as helping other people that might be listening to this.
Yes, I would. This is Claudia in Texas. I see religion nowadays, because our world is such a corporation, merchant, customer relations type business all over the planet. I see religion more like insurance. You go and you join a religion, one, because of the community you're living in, and because you have to have some type of allegiance to some higher power. And the church representing, or religion representing, the highest power on the planet, but actually it's your debit card, the AC1 code, commercial code for business all over the planet. That's the real authority on this planet. So when you join a church, you're hoping for a higher authority, but you can beg, I'm going to use the word beg, ask for help, how to get a better job, how to find a mate, a house, what dress to wear to church, because you'll be seen by many people, and if you're a business person, you want to be represented by the best you've got. And, of course, you can make alliances with members of your religious organization and further your business. But then there are a lot of people who go there to hear the quote-unquote Word of God. And sometimes the words of God really don't make sense in the Bible that they follow and swear to, that this is the highest truth on this planet. You look at the Muslims who do the same thing, the people in China, the people in Africa, all having great experiences of trying to be more in line with what their religion is presenting. And if you look at God and use the example of the sun shining, the sun does not move or change directions. It doesn't foster any help to any particular group of people. It just shines. And it shines, like they say, on the good and the bad. It doesn't matter who you are. You can get up in the morning and you'll see the sun shining, if the weather's clear, depending on where you are. But the main thing is, in our new presentation, we use that reference as an example of what is. We use the term all is to describe what is in our lives now. We have advanced, yes. We've unfolded, yes. Our civilization is great and mighty, yes. But we're just starting. There are other civilizations on other planets that have lived for thousands of years and have collected a lot more knowledge than we have. And yes, we can be easily fooled and led astray. But the point is if you act sincerely, with pure sincerity in your heart, and you ask to know the real story, not the fake one that somebody's selling you to sell their magazines or newspapers or books or lectures, whatever. Not that one. You want the real story, what is really true. In new presentation, we give the example of, hey, do the birds in the air have governments and hospitals? Do the birds in the air have a party to vote for? Do the birds in the air have a president or a king? Do the birds in the air keep an army, a standing army with rifles or guns or pellets of some sort? Do the birds in the air do anything but exist and live their life the best they can? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claudia. That was great. I would like to thank all our guests today, Claudia, who is the seer from Texas, and Kelsey Lynn Brown and Henry Draper, who live in Huntington Beach, and work in the office with Duane the Great Writer. And I would like to especially thank Duane the Great Writer, who has given us so much, who has written hundreds and thousands of articles and many, many books on how we can get out of the worlds of creation and into the all is, onto the real side. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening today. Bob, do you have any comment? Bob doesn't have a comment. So thank you again, and we will see you next week.